Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time talking episode 8 of season 2 of Star Wars Rebels called Legacy. And this is a really nice episode. It really feeds into a lot of things that have been building since the beginning of the series with Ezra. We see another example of him having dreams that are prophetic. And unlike last time around, he has the sense to not necessarily interpret these things the way in a positive way. And he gets cautioned by this about that again by Kanan. But here Ezra seems to have learned a little bit of like, okay, I need to take what is happening with a grain of salt, not to automatically interpret it the way that I want it to. And I really like how his figuring it all out of what this means, where he's supposed to do, what he's supposed to do with his vision. It seems very in keeping with things like this I've seen before in Star Wars. And what I really like about this story is the way that it all ends up. Ezra learns that, yeah, until very recently, his parents were alive. They even saw his broadcast talking about, not letting about keeping hope alive. And then they ended up dying just shortly before all of these events happened. So there was the possibility not that long ago that Ezra could have been reunited with them while they were still alive. And then here, that just gets yanked away from him. He knows for sure now that his parents are dead. That, this hope he had had for so long is futile. And, his reaction to that, he both kind of breaks down, and Kanan kind of gives him a hug. But he ultimately kind of finds a degree of peace with that. He has that vision of his parents telling him how proud of him they are. They are. He sees what the city on Lothal used to look like before the Empire came, and in a way, that's kind of what he's fighting for. That such a place could exist again. That Lothal could be free and beautiful again, the way it was before the Empire came. And this is all really, in a lot of ways, in keeping with what the Jedi are supposed to be about non-commit, about non-attachment, about letting go. And a lot of people, when they look at the Jedi philosophy, tend to misinterpret that. Non-attachment, especially. Non-attachment is an idea that it doesn't mean that you don't care about people in your life. It doesn't mean that you don't love them or anything like that. It's just that you realize that nothing lasts forever. No one lasts forever. The people that we care about are either going to die before we do, or we're going to die before they do. We are going to lose people that we care about, that we love in our life. That is inevitable. We're going to lose things that we care about in our life. That is inevitable. And non-attachment really is very all about, if you do lose these things, you accept that they're gone. You don't let it eat you up that you can't that this is gone, that you can't have it back. If someone dies, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to change that. You can only accept it and move on. And it is when people can't do that, that really just tears them up inside. The futility of what they're trying to do, their inability to detach themselves from this. It's kind of said, for example, in Buddhism, that existence is suffering, which people take as a sort of a morbid comment when that's not really what it's meant to be. That is really meant to be that as long the part that follows that is that suffering is caused by desire. And basically, as long as while we're alive, we tend to desire things and are unhappy when we can't have the things that we want. So as long as you don't get hung up on wanting things, then you're going to lead a happier life. Not that it's bad to want things, not that it's bad to want, strive for goals, to want things in life. It's just you can't get hung up on if you can't have them, or if you do get them and then you lose them. Because sometimes you don't get what you want in life. Sometimes you lose things that are valuable to you. And it's that ability to detach yourself, to realize that, okay, this isn't going to work out. I'm not going to get what I want, or this thing that I had that I cared about is gone. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to move on. All right, about letting go and moving on. That's really kind of at the core of that idea in Buddhism, which the Jedi philosophy borrows from quite liberally, and part of the Jedi Code. So what we see with that vision there is Ezra kind of making peace with the whole situation. Now, whether or not that's just him in his own mind, or if that's really his parents' spirits, for lack of a better term, that's kind of open to interpretation. But we do have to remember that all living beings are connected to the Force. I mean, that's where the Force comes from, the energy created by living beings. So the Jedi believe that when any being, even non-Jedi included, dies, then they return to the Force. And this is something that has occasionally been played around with in Star Wars, but never too much. So the idea that Ezra could have maybe had some sort of contact with his parents' spirit is not impossible. Um, of course, we also have the situation with the rebel base on that planet got by the Empire. So yeah, that's kind of a problem. And I definitely did like Agent Callus and the Inquisitors trading shots back and forth at each other. Um, as bad as things are, and again, we get to see Ezra sort of losing it and Kanan having to save him from the Inquisitors. Um, when Ahsoka's not around, like I said in my last video, the Inquisitors are, despite being arrogant and a little sloppy, are still a very, very serious threat. And their threat is not over yet. The rebels have suffered a really, really serious setback. Ezra himself may have found a degree of personal peace, but the rebellion is in some pretty hot water at the moment. And man, what's going to happen next is anybody's guess. So, with that said, guys, I think I'm good to go on this episode. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi, or join me on Tumblr at Jedi Reviewer. All together, one word there. So, until next time, take care and have a good one.